Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I'm your host, Sean Boyle, and with me is co-host
Ashley Bach.
You're back.
I am, yay.
You were there, you left, you came back again.
It's been a crazy summer, but I am good. I was at a conference last week, filling my brain, but I'm good now. I'm better.
Well, you got an hour to empty it and share it with everybody. But just a reminder, and I know a lot of our listeners and longtime viewers know this. They can probably say it with me. So close your eyes and envision it and just mouth the words with me. Children's Services Council, why we do this radio program. We do this radio program to connect the listeners and the viewers to what resources are available in the community. We go around in the community a lot. We do a lot of speaking engagements. We go to a lot of groups. We just went to a youth forum. And consistently what we're finding is that people don't know what resources are out there. So we utilize this hour, commercial-free, because we don't have a sponsor yet, commercial-free, to connect you, the listener, to what resources are available. And these resources may not be anything that you're personally going to use, but I guarantee you, your neighbor, a coworker, congregation member, a family member can utilize some of the resources that we talk about. And the reason why Larry Lee Jr. gave us an opportunity to do this because of what we do and our interaction in the community. Children's Services Council, we are an independent special district, and our whole purpose is to fund and make available children's programs. And we have 5 main focuses for our funding. And you're going to make sure I get it right,
yes,
right?
That's what I'm here for.
Because last time I messed up. First focus is to make sure every baby is a healthy baby. Second focus is to stop child abuse before it happens. Third focus is to keep kids off the streets. Fourth focus is to keep them off drugs and alcohol. And the fifth focus is to keep them in school. Almost lost. I got it.
You're so close.
But we do this through a network of 53 programs that we make available. And it's programs that you've heard of. It's the Boys and Girls Club. It's the Avenue D Boys Choir. It's Castle. It's Hibiscus. It's New Horizons. But maybe it's a program you haven't heard of, or it is a program that you probably haven't heard of. For example, the Nurse Home Visitation Program. That's a universal program for all new mothers. Give birth, spend 48 hours in the hospital. You come home in that first week, a registered nurse will come to your house, check on the health of the baby, the health of the mother, stress level of the father. Stay there and answer any questions that you may have. That's an example of one of the universal programs that we provide. Altogether, all said and done, last year our programs reached over 30,000 youth in our community.
That's a lot.
I've talked a lot.
You must have had a lot of coffee this morning.
I just started. It's an anticipation caffeine boost.
I see. Well, Sean mentioned a lot of programs, and we've got a few ways that you can learn more about those programs. The first of which is on our website. We share a lot of information on our website, not just about the programs, but about upcoming events, about things that we think are important to local families, and we share success stories there as well. We've got an awesome about 4-minute video that highlights a couple of success stories from some of our programs, and we share stories every month there as well. We post a blog that gets linked to our newsletter every month, and it's a success story of a child or a family or a parent that has participated in one of our programs. And it's really awesome to kind of see the ways that these programs are impacting the lives of our local residents. And you mentioned it's our coworkers, it's congregation members, it's friends, family. Through these 53 programs, I would guarantee that at least one person that you know has used the services of one, if not more, of those programs. So on our website, we've got a family guide as well that gives...
I was waiting to hold that up.
I know, I saw you. It gives a detailed description of what each one of those programs does, as well as provides contact information for them. And if the program is a site-based location, if it's a after-school program that takes place at a certain location, the address for that program will be listed as well. So you can actually see what programs are located close to you. The other really cool new way that we've got to share information is through our app. We've got a free app that is available in both the Apple and the Android stores. I think we're up to almost 80 people who have downloaded the app now, so we're really excited about that. It gives us a great way to interact with people. You have access to all of the information about our funded programs right at your fingertips, and we can share information with you as well. So if there's an event coming up that's close to where you live or close to where you are, we can actually send you information about that event right to your phone.
I participated in a youth forum, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but at the youth forum I asked, who here has a cell phone? Every hand raised. Who has a smartphone? Everybody's got a smartphone.
They do.
So, if the great thing about the app is, let's say you're looking for an after-school program. You go to that category, you find one, let's say it's the Boys and Girls Club at the New Williams Center. You click on the address. That just reminds me, we're going to need to make sure that address is in there. You click on the address, your phone will map it for you.
Yep.
Or if you want to call to see if they have openings, you click on the phone number, it calls you. It's very interactive and it's very immediate. So by all means, feel free to download the app. It is free. We actually have an event coming up where we're going to incentivize you to download the app. You get a little freebie if you have it on your phone. But tell your friends, neighbors about it. And again, if you got a smartphone,
Everybody does.
everybody does, then you can download it and get it, and you'll be covered, if you will.
After school programs, like you mentioned, actually brings up a good topic. We had the opportunity yesterday to participate in the Kids at Hope tunnels because yesterday was the first day of school.
I'm well aware of that. I had 2 teenagers. This is the first time in a long time that both of my kids were going up at the same time, riding on the same school bus to high school.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about that?
I'm surprised I still have hair.
Well, I read in the paper this morning that the first day of school went off without a hitch. Everybody did great. You and I had the opportunity to be at the Northport K-8 Kids at Hope Tunnel, which was awesome. There are actually 3 separate entrances where kids were coming in, so there literally were 3 different tunnels happening at the same time. But it was great. We had a huge number of people at our tunnel, and I think yours was even bigger.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, a lot of listeners and viewers have participated, but for those who haven't, the Kids at Hope initiative, the simple belief that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. It's a little bit more detailed than that, but for this time, I'll just leave it at that. But for every start of the school year, there's tunnels of hope, which mean that adults holding signs, encouraging kids to have a great year and that we believe in you. So imagine your first day of school, you're nervous. I was nervous for my kids. You're nervous, and the first interaction you have with the school is a bunch of adults cheering you on. What a great lift, not only for that day, but for that whole school year. So we volunteered.
Yep.
You were smart. You went to the parent drop-off.
Yeah.
I went to the bus loading zone where I had a great time, but I smelled like diesel fuel at the end of the event. We do have a phone call. You want to?
Yes, I will try. We'll see. Hello, caller, are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here. I was calling for Mighty Mike.
Oh, well, this is not the right number to get a hold of him.
Oh, okay. Is this WIRA or no?
It is, but let me give you the number to the main office. It's 460
460
9356.
93.
And before you call, tune in because you're live on the radio right now.
Is that area code
772.
772. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh-huh.
Just an accident.
You know, we have this philosophy. We drop everything for a phone call.
And then
We might have to address that philosophy.
we need somebody screening our calls. That's what we need.
But yeah. We're lucky we can answer the phone call. But it was a great event, the Tunnels of Hope. I want to thank everybody that turned out because it was truly a community effort. There probably had to be at least 200, if not more, adults because how many schools participated? At least about 18 schools, and there were at least 20 adults, if not more, at each school.
And there actually are still a couple of tunnels happening this week. So if you visit our website and click on the community calendar, we've got a list of all the ones that are still happening. I believe there's one still happening tomorrow and then maybe one on Friday as well. So definitely take a look if you've got time to share. We had a great turnout. We had law enforcement officers, firefighters, parents, business people,
veterans.
It just, it's a great support to show our kids that we're behind them, especially on the first day of school.
And is that information posted? Is it on our website?
It is. It's on the community calendar.
Okay.
Yep.
So our website, cscslc.org.
Oh, that would be helpful.
Shameless plug there, but if you want to know what she's talking about, go to cscslc.org. The other thing I want to mention is you can go to our website. Another thing that we learned at the community forum, with the youth forum, I should say, is they don't check out websites.
No.
And they check out a little bit of Facebook. Facebook, let's face it, is for adults. That's what I tell my kids anyway. That's why they don't have Facebook pages. But we are on Facebook. Look up Children's Services Council, St. Lucie County. Like us on Facebook or become a fan of ours or do something to the page. But we post on there regularly what's coming up, our radio guests, for examples, events that are happening over the weekend. So if you haven't already, and if you're streaming us at work, it's really quite simple. Minimize the streaming window, jump onto Facebook. I'm sure your employer is fine with it. Look up Children's Services Council and like the page. But we are on Twitter.
We are. Well, yeah, we are.
We are on Twitter.
You do a great job on Twitter.
What I was going to say was Ashley's on Twitter. Look up Ashley CSC SLC. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I noticed you tweeted last week, but your other tweet before that was in March.
Well,
but,
I try.
But I'm on there all the time. So look up Sean, SEAN CSC SLC.
You do a much better job than me.
Follow us. We'll follow you back. CSC also has a Twitter page, which is CSC SLC. But what was popular with the kids
Instagram.
was Instagram.
Of course.
So we are on Instagram. It's very similar to Twitter. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to work it, but we are on Instagram. If you look up...
It's Children's Services Council on Instagram.
On Instagram, look it up. The other thing that they said was popular was Kick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I know nothing about that.
I feel pretty proud of myself that I learned Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Kick might be above my learning curve.
We need to recruit some high school interns for that.
But there's multiple ways to get a hold of all this information, and my point is get connected. Because this radio show is only going to work if you take on this radio and TV show is only going to work if you take this information and pass it on. And if you take the information and say, you know what, Children's Services Council, I watched this crazy TV show where they were talking all over each other, but I learned that there's resources for the program or for the community. I went to their website, or I downloaded the app, or I just liked their Facebook page. Pass that information on. We've got a great guest that we're going to get to here in a minute. This only works, folks, if we pass this information on, because lack of knowledge cannot be an obstacle that we continue to face in this community to address the issues that we're addressing. That's my soapbox for the hour. All right, real quick, I'm going to pause for station ID, and when we pause for station ID, and I'm just going to lean over. Is there a T-shirt in there? All right, we have one T-shirt to give away. So we're going to give it away to the first caller that's purposely calling the radio show. The number is 464-1400. I'm sorry, area code 772-464-1400. We're going to give away a Children's Services Council T-shirt, a car magnet, as well as a directory of programs so you can get even more connected. But I want to remind everybody real quick, you're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County on legendary 1400 AM WIRA, or you're watching us on WLX, the education channel, through the St. Lucie County School Board. Did I get that right? I don't have my sheet. I didn't get it right. Comcast Channel 13 in Fort Pierce, Channel 19 in Port St. Lucie, Hometown Cable Channel 19, ATTU Verse Channel 99, and Lightstream Cable at St. James Channel 65.
I can't believe you came without your cheat sheet today.
I thought I was going to be able to... I was busy this morning.
I'll forgive you.
When you're talking to the guests, I'm going to get the proper name for the education channel, because I think I messed it up, didn't I? Right,
it's WLX TV. You just forgot the TV.
Oh, well, that was close.
Close enough.
If we were playing horseshoes, I might have won. All right, so I keep mentioning a youth forum. Last Friday, I was privileged enough to participate on a panel where children that were participating in the Preventing Crime in the Black Community, or NA, conference that they organized. It was youth-led. Leaders from that attend the Fort Pierce PAL put it on. There were about, I think at the peak of it, there were about 135 youth. I think at the forum there were probably about 75 to 100. And they asked questions of the panel. And honestly, I kind of felt like, you know, we were on the panel, but really we were in the audience because we were just writing down everything that they had to say because they had a lot of great ideas. But one of the common themes that kept coming up was lack of information about resources, which is why we're going to figure out KICK to make sure everybody knows, seriously. But the other thing, the reoccurring theme that kept coming up was jobs. How do teens get ready for jobs? Where do they go to find jobs? Are there any jobs in our community? It was the common central theme. So armed with that knowledge, we immediately called the people who are experts on jobs. I was looking for a bigger yes than that, but I'm kidding. Career Source, Research Coast. They've been on the show. This is the third time. A great program, particularly the Youth Connections program. We have Sherry and Deanne. And usually you do the introductions. You do a lot better job than I. But let's just first start with what is Career Source Research Coast, because that might be a new name to some people, and clearly I've botched it a couple of times. So do you want to, kind of let everybody know what it is? And it's been around for a while, but maybe it's the first time they've heard the name.
Correct. In February, we rebranded to Career Source Research Coast, and we used to be called Workforce Solutions. So all of the places in the four-county area that you know as Workforce Solutions or the one-stop centers previously are now called Career Source Research Coast. And we are continuing also to do the youth program under that umbrella. So we have new logos, new names, new colors. The colors are bright and vibrant.
But same services.
Same services. Expanded services a little bit, too.
So job and job readiness.
Exactly. Resume building, interviewing classes, recruiting events so that employers can get their jobs out, their job openings out there. People can come and apply on the spot. Job fests are coming up. You can check our website, the Career Source RC for ResearchCoast.com for upcoming events. They post the job fests, the recruiting events. There's really always something going on somewhere in the four-county area, all the way across our region. They are working really hard to connect the employers with the job seekers in the area.
Because everybody, and I apologize, listeners and viewers, my elbow accidentally hit a button and it started cueing some music or something, but I think we only lost like a couple of seconds, right? Okay, good. I apologize for that. But they got the website down. It wasn't during the website part. But everybody knows Workforce Solutions. Everybody knows that's the place to go for jobs. So Career Source Research Coast is the same thing.
Correct.
It's a brand new name.
Exactly.
So let's talk, because I want to talk about all that you do, but let's talk about the youth aspect first, because, sitting on that panel and hearing, and most of the kids that were asking about jobs were, 16, 17 years old. They were older teenagers, if you will. And in my head, I kept thinking, Career Source. They need to know about this. So tell everybody about the Youth Connections program.
We're working with young people who are 16 to 21 years old. Basically who need to figure out their career path. What is it that they want to do and how do they get there? Do they still need to finish their high school diploma or get their GED? Do they need to make some decisions on what career path they want to follow? We do career exploration with them. We do a lot of work readiness training for that resume building, doing interviewing. We mock interview them, and the only way you get better at interviewing is doing it. Yeah. So we mock interview them at every chance that we get to keep them practicing those answers and getting better at it. We work on effectively job searching. Young people don't, it's hard and it's different actually than when we were coming up to job search. The internet makes it very different now. So you really have to be pretty savvy at what you're doing so that you're not wasting a lot of time. And one of my jobs specifically, we have career coaches in the four-county area that work very closely with our young people, mentoring, supporting, teaching them and training them. And then my job specifically is as a job developer, which means that I go to find the employers who want to work with these young people, who want to give a young person who doesn't have a lot of actual work experience their first start. So I'm looking for those employers that are ready to work with these young people who are just starting out and need that little bit of a start to be able to put some skills on their resume.
We all started somewhere, so it's nice to be able to welcome any employer that's willing to do that for our young people. So.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now you mentioned, because that came up. I'm going to keep referring to the youth panel because everything that we're going to talk about they brought up, and I want to emphasize this. And again, because and we're going to ask you to give out your number and all the locations. When a group of kids are asking for a resource and it's available in the community, we need to do the best that we can to get that word out. And I'm speaking to the audience right now, the listeners and the viewers. Share about what Career Source is doing. Career Source Research Coast, is doing in the community, particularly this Youth Connections program. So when you talk about getting them ready for jobs, that's what came up in the forum. They're like, we don't know what we should wear or how we should interview or what we should say or shouldn't say. But when you talk about careers, you're not talking about just, when I hear careers, people are thinking, oh, they're getting them ready to, what they're going to do when they're 25, 30 years old. You're talking about job readiness for if they want to get a summer job.
Absolutely. We're working on both because we want the young people that we're working with to be ready to go get a job right now, whatever that job might be. But we also want them looking bigger. We want them to look towards those bigger career goals and what is it that they need to get to that ultimate dream job, that ultimate thing that they're going to feel successful. But a lot of our young people that we're working with, they need a job right now. They have obligations. They may have a little one at home. We do work all the way up to age 21, so quite a few of our young people are single parents or are parenting a young adult that they need to go to work. So we can help them get that first job, but if we help them get a job at McDonald's, generally our career coaches that's not good enough for us to say, okay, you're done, we're successful with you. We want them to be bigger. We want them to go after that dream job because we want them to be self-reliant and self-sufficient so that they are working towards having a career, that they're not jumping from McDonald's job to a Burger King job to a fast food job to a retail job.
And I was going to say, when you brought that up, one of the things that I noticed on your website is that you identify a lot of industries that they may want. So if they are looking towards a culinary industry, McDonald's might be the perfect place for them to start, and get that experience to then move into like a hotel restaurant and then move into a high-end restaurant if that's what they're looking to do. So I think it's awesome that you guys kind of find a job for them now, but plan on what that future goal is to make sure that they're still working towards that as well.
And Deanna and I were joking before we went on the air. What was your first job?
Right.
I've worked retail.
Me too.
And what it taught me, and I think this is what Sherry was talking about. It taught me work ethic. It taught me that customer service is important. Yeah. It taught me that you have to show up on time. You clock in on time. You do what your boss says, or you no longer work there. So. Can you speak to that to a degree?
Yes, as we all know, we all have to start somewhere. I know, my first job, Sherry's first job isn't, what we're at now, but to give that young person that first start really builds confidence in them so they know that, okay, hey, if I can do this, I know there's bigger and better for me. So that's one of the things that we try to strongly encourage for them. We give them that hope that, hey, you've come this far, let's go a little bit further. One other thing I'd like to mention, though, for the Youth Connections program, there is eligibility and a suitability process. So I just want everybody to understand that you may come in and you want to get into the program. However, there is an application process to it, and sometimes not everybody is accepted into it. We have to follow, our guidelines and limitations, but we welcome everybody to come in and see what we have to offer. We will have our career coaches determine the eligibility piece and suitability piece. They do have to make a phone call. Our career coaches have schedules throughout. We have youth come in, all the time. But when we have our appointment days, we'd like to just have it scheduled so that their time is, evenly divided so that they're not interrupting somebody else's appointment. But I just wanted to stress that, yes, there is income and suitability.
Can you kind of go over, because what you're saying is they can't just show up and get in right away. They
Correct.
Need to make an appointment.
Yes, they need to make an appointment. We will show all the different locations and telephone numbers. There's an 800 number, but for instance, for eligibility, because it is a federally funded program, we have to ensure that everybody that comes into the program are, able to work in the United States. They have either their birth certificate or the residence card. We have to have a social. There's just certain documentation that we have to provide in order to establish the eligibility piece. And then suitability. Say we have a young person with a few barriers who's, maybe 19 and realize that, I really need to get my act together right now, and this is the time to do it. So they come in and they're like, Miss Deanne, I really want to do this. I want to have my GED, and I want to go into nursing. I want to start as a CNA. We help them get there if they show us that they're willing and able to change their current situation. They're motivated to do it. that's also a part of the process. I mean, we'll give them a trial period, and if they come in on time, again, that's all part of the work process. So we also have a 2-week work readiness program for YES. It's Youth Employment Success Solutions. Every youth that comes into our program has to complete that pretty much first, and then we also have a work experience that youth will go on the job and gain skills by what the manager or supervisor on site sets for them. So say, for instance, we have, and I always use Johnny, but say we had Johnny come in and he helped you guys with some of your setup. That's new skills for Johnny in order for him to build his resume.
great.
You want somebody to answer your phone? We can have that person for you.
We might need to talk to you about that.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, I just want to also mention Youth Connections is wonderful for all youth. It's a great program. If they really take advantage of what it has to offer, it can really allow a youth to grow and really find their success down the road. They really become self-sufficient. Not only that, Career Source has many other services available. As you guys know, the job-seeking services, there's vet services for the veterans out there. All kinds of recruiting events coming up. They have the Work Certified program for the adult job seekers. So there's on-the-job training. There's employed worker training. So there's a lot of services. And for those that are seeking employment, we just ask that you go into one of the local Career Source locations and find out what they have to offer.
Okay, so let's talk about those and your phone number, because you've given out a lot of information. So I know the Youth Connections program used to only be based out of the Garden City location, correct?
Not only.
Oh, no. Okay.
No,
So
we have 5 locations in the 4-county area.
Okay. So Garden City is one of them.
Garden City is one of them. The community annex on the backside of the school there at 21st and Q. We have a youth center there, and that Career Source location is now a full-service career center for anyone who wants to go there and take advantage of Career Source services. So that's a full-service career center for Fort Pierce now.
Does it have, because Deanne mentioned, making an appointment, scheduling, and
That one,
Walk-in.
for those,
That
the
one's a
walk-in.
walk-in. Okay,
Mhm,
okay.
For the adult job seekers, yes.
okay.
We also have our Port St. Lucie location at the main Career Source office, which is on University Boulevard in Port St. Lucie in St. Lucie West, and that is right by the Met Stadium, Digital Domain Stadium.
We know where that's
or
at.
Tradition Stadium, sorry. And we have
Where the Mets play is what we
I
like
do the
to call
exact
it.
same thing. That's what I said.
whatever
change
name
that.
it's going by today.
The new location.
We have a new youth center there now that we just got moved into maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We should probably have some kind of grand opening, open house kind
We
of
will
thing
be
coming up.
having
We'll
one,
let you
yes.
know
Yay.
about. But it is it's part of the center designated just for the kids to come in. They come in our entrance. It's the whole center in Suite 400 is the it's just for youth. We have a computer bank for them. We have a conference room. We have trainings going on.
Very cool.
And it's just all us.
I think it's important because you're right out in front of the Met Stadium, or I'm sorry, where the Mets play. You got me saying it now. Where the Mets play, there's a bus stop right there.
Correct.
So if
There
transportation's an issue, there it is on the bus route, and it's really right across from the street from the bus stop.
Yes, you're right. We also have locations in Stewart. The Career Source location is on Country Club Road. No.
In Stewart?
Yeah.
I believe it was Central Parkway.
Oh, it's Central Parkway. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But the youth center is actually at the Boys and Girls Club in Palm City. And then in Vero, we have the youth center at the Harvest location on US 1 in Vero and 28th Street. However, the Career Source Center for the general population is on 82nd Avenue, I believe, which is sort of farther west off of Route 60. And then the Okeechobee location, we are located with the Okeechobee Achievement Academy out there, and which is a great partnership. And then the Career Source location in Okeechobee is on
Park Avenue.
Park Avenue.
Wow. How do you
Yeah,
keep
I
all
don't
that
know how
straight?
you keep them all
I
straight.
don't. I had to
You
check
should
with
just walk around with a map.
We should.
It's all in there.
Well, but we should tell people that all of that information is available on your website.
Yes.
So if they're looking
both,
for
yeah.
somewhere close to them, obviously you have a lot of locations, so somewhere is close to them.
Yes.
But the website is careersourcerc.com.
Correct. And there is also a youth tab, a youth connections tab that has we just sort of changed the site and made it better. We improved it a lot, made it a lot more. We think it's youth friendly. As grown-ups and feeling old,
We might
think
need to
it's a
check
little.
with some of your kids.
We might have to have some kids actually look at it, but it's a lot more youth friendly. It's more colorful. The information is more. It talks a little bit more
Understandable.
that where kids are. It's more readable for young people rather than sort of a dissertation on the theories of teaching occupational training to kids kind of thing. So there's a lot of information there about what we do and of course about what CareerSource as a whole does. There's also a lot of information. One of the things that I think the general population doesn't realize about CareerSource and formerly Workforce Solutions is that we have a lot of services for employers. Mm-hmm. We want to work with the employers so that we can match them with the job developers or with the job seekers so that we know where the jobs are. We're working with the employers to make sure we're training the people who are looking for those jobs so that they have a good workforce.
And it's free.
And it's free. There is no cost to the employers. There's no cost to the job seekers.
It's our favorite word.
We like free.
Free is always good.
Real quick, you've got all these locations
Yes.
from Gardens or Vero all the way down
Palm
to
City.
Palm City over to Okeechobee, the whole Research Coast. I'm sorry, and Okeechobee. But is there one number where somebody could call that maybe they're unsure where to go, or just like every show that we do, we throw all this information out. We like to have our listeners.
Okay.
Pass on one number if they know somebody,
Yes.
particularly either adults or youth, 6 to 21,
That's right.
that are need to get their skills to find a job, get a job. And I seem to remember last time you were on the show, they don't have to be in school to be enrolled in this, right?
Correct.
If you've got a child that maybe dropped out, or I think we joked about was just sitting around playing video games.
Exactly.
They can enroll in this program, maybe
Yeah.
get their GED or get back into school,
Right.
and also get job skill
Get them
training.
off your couch.
Yes, and we're targeting the out-of-school youth right now.
Okay.
We're limited on a certain amount, but for right now, we're really targeting on those out-of-school youth, so they're not sitting there couch surfing on video games and getting something meaningful for them to do and stay out of trouble.
So the number?
The 800 number. It's 1-866, and it's 482-4473. They have it sort of spelled out as well as 1-866-4U2-HIRE, HIRE.
I'm glad they have the numbers on there because I've seen that and I'm like, okay, my phone. All right, what number is that? All right, so it's 866-482-4473.
Correct.
Got it.
That's right.
So everybody needs to call. If you're listening, hopefully you wrote that number down. We'll repeat it again in the show. If you're watching, jot it down because, again, active show, not a passive show. Pass along this information. Kids looking for jobs, kids needing job skills, adults needing jobs, adults needing job skills. One number, multiple locations, 866-482-4473. Let me pause real quick for station ID and then we'll continue our conversation. Do you want to do it this time?
No.
Okay. Because I've yet to get it right, I think, in 3 years. You're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council on legendary 1400 AM WIRA, or you're watching us on WLX TV, the Education Channel, Comcast Channel 13 in Fort Pierce or Channel 19 in Port St. Lucie, Hometown Cable Channel 19, I don't know why I'm moving my hands, AT&T Universe Channel 99, and Lightstream Cable at St. James Channel 65.
If you sit on them, do you talk the same?
No, I just swivel back and forth. And I will mention we still have a T-shirt available. I promise you if you call, we won't give you a hard time. I know it seems like we will, but I promise you we won't. If you want to join in on the conversation, or honestly, if you just want to call and say, give me the shirt, all you got to give us a call
We'll
at
take that.
772-464-1400. We'd love to hear from you.
We should also mention, too, for our viewers, if you are watching this taped version of the show and would still like a shirt, if you send us a message on Facebook, we will make sure that we get you one.
go on Facebook, look up Children's Services Council,
Send us a
St. Lucie
message.
County, and send us a message.
We'll make sure you get it. Now, Sherry, I have a question for you, because you mentioned that your job really related to working with employers to find placements for these kids who are looking for work experience. What kind of employers are you looking for? If somebody's listening that has a small business or maybe a large business and is looking for what kind of things do you need the employer to have?
We need them to have the desire to take in a young person and give them some training.
Have to be open a year. They have to be in business.
They have to be in business at least a year, so they can't be the brand
Right.
new employer. But it comes down to sort of the desire to do it. It's a little bit of mentoring. Of course, it's a little bit of training. Sometimes we have hiccups with kids. They are generally teenagers or just out of teenage
And they're
life,
kids.
and they are kids really to us. So we do have those hiccups, and especially during work experience is kind of that time where we want to train them so that they're not doing that when they're hired for a job, because then they'll get fired. If we can train them through it and make sure that we're helping them overcome the barriers, if they are late for work because their babysitter called out or something, we need to help them with that plan B. And that's what our career coaches do. They're sort of that other support, mentoring piece, so that we're helping them through those troubles, those struggles that they have, so that when they get to employment, that doesn't happen, and then they're out of a job. Our work experience program also is kind of the added benefit is that the employers can use that time period sort of as a working interview. They can spend those weeks with that young person and make sure that they're the right person to hire. If they have a position open, they can train them and make sure that they're learning what they need to learn to do the job effectively. So they have that time to see if they're the right person to hire. The work experience portion of the training with our young people there is no cost to the employer. We actually pay our young people an incentive stipend based on the skills that they're learning. We create a learning plan, a skills plan, a goals plan with the young person and the employer, so that we know that they're actually learning something while they're there. And as long as they're achieving those skills and those goals while they're there, then we give them a little bit of a stipend to bring them along and incentivize them a little bit. But it's free to the employers, so we're always looking for new people, and in every industry.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We have
Landscaping,
it
automotive.
could be anything. We do have quite a few young people who are interested in the healthcare field, which is great, because we do need a lot of nurses. That's one of the biggest industries that has a gap in our area, but really any industry. We have a lot of young people that are interested in manufacturing jobs and working with their hands, and anything, culinary, everything. It's just they run the whole gamut of what their interests are, and we try to match them up with something that they're actually interested in, that they might want to do.
Very cool.
And you bring up such an important part, because it's really a two-variable equation, right? I mean, we can train all these youth and give them all the skills, but if no employers are willing to take them on,
Correct.
what have we done it for?
Right.
And and I think that might have been some of the youth frustration as well, is because they didn't know who was hiring or where to go. So I would just encourage, again, active show, not a passive show. If you own a business, know a business operator, call Career Source Research Coast. I'm so sorry, Career Source Research Coast, because we need somebody to take a chance on these youth, right? And if you're going to take a chance on a youth, take it with Career Source, because you're providing all the backup and all the support to make sure that child is successful.
Right.
But this is only going to work if not only the youth and the parents step up, but the business community, not just the business employers, need to step up as well.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And that's not to say that we don't have some really great employers that we're working with already. We have some wonderful partnerships with many different agencies,
Educational facilities too. Yeah.
many different employers all through the region that they've done a great job,
We
especially.
should give them a shout out. I mean, if they've stepped up, I think they deserve the recognition.
We do a great summer program with the St. Lucie County School Board Facilities Department. They actually put kids to work on the school facilities, which is really, really great over the summer. Goodwill's been a great partnership with us. Let's see.
Mary's Shelter.
Mary's,
Boys and Girls
yeah.
Club. There's so many.
So
We
many.
just
Yeah,
we don't want to
yeah.
leave anybody off. So
I
it's
realized as
kinda
soon as I
like,
said it,
yeah.
I put you on the spot.
I'm like, but everybody, we thank everybody, and we welcome more in any industry. Like Sherry said, it's really important for our employers to step up. This is the future of America, and we really need our kids to be put to work, to start somewhere, and you never know. It could be a lifelong employee for 35 years,
Right.
so.
And is there, if an employer is out there and they're thinking, oh, I've got I might be filling this opening or have this position, but it's only 10 hours a week. Is there a limit? Can it be has to be more than 5?
For work experience, we like them to work at least 15 hours a week, like 15 to 25 hours, because they really need that time there to get the good training, to learn the skills. If they're there less than that, they're not learning as much. However, if they have a position that is only, so many hours, it's a few out, I can certainly work with them to identify young people that are in our program that are ready to go to work. And see what we can do to form a relationship so that we can help them fill that kind of position.
Nice. And it's all
Absolutely.
trades.
Anything.
Anything.
Really.
Now, before the show started, we were kind of chatting a little bit, and we talked about how many kids you guys served last year and some of the successes that came out of it. Can you share some of those with our listeners?
Sure.
You were better at the numbers than me.
Okay, yes. Last year we served over 400 youth in the Tri-County. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's quite a bit. Out of that, we had over 150 successful, so they went on to jobs in college and or military or advanced training apprenticeships. And we had over 118 work experiences, which amounted to something like over 10,000 hours of work experiences for those youth. Yeah, so it's a good start for them. What else? Oh, and credentials. We have some occupational credentials that we provide to the youth. We have a customer service retail credential, and we also have a safe staff credential, which is for culinary. And I believe we had something like over 200 of those given out or earned. They earned them. They sat and took the test. They were trained and earned. So yeah, they come out with stackable credentials. They have a resume set. Most oftentimes the youth, they don't think they have anything when they graduate. I never worked. Well, let's see. Did you have projects that you were in charge of at high school? Did you babysit? Any of these other items. We help them get that first start of the resume. And most oftentimes, the employers realize their youth, they have some skills there that they can utilize, and they'll give them that opportunity. But before a youth goes for a work experience, we always interview them right before so they're comfortable, just like anything. The more you practice, the more you do it, the better you are. So we want them to be comfortable so that they can attain that positive outcome for that job.
So I think this is exciting, it's one of those things where you say, hey, we have this issue, and then immediately here's the solution, right? I mean, and ironically, that's probably your name. It used to be part of your name. I'm sorry. I'm going to get this down eventually.
One day.
One day. But I think it's important that everybody pass on the number. But do you guys do like speaking engagements, or will you go to a Boys and Girls Club or the PAL or a church and explain? Because this is we're cramming all this in a half hour, and we're
We do community outreach. All the coaches, we have 10 coaches in the 4 counties, and even Sherry, everybody that can, whenever there's events. We were at the fairs last year to get the word out. Anytime anybody wants us to come in, I'm actually doing an orientation tomorrow at COSA.
Oh, nice.
With Deborah Ames. So we'll be doing that, and then another one on Friday. As many as we can get out in the community. If anybody's interested, by all means call us, and we'll schedule the appointment to have one of our coaches, or Sherry or myself, or our program manager, Jody Hessing, come and provide an orientation to give the services, because it really is a lot of information, and to absorb it, it's so much. And I just, again, want everybody to understand that there is a process to the application. Not everybody gets approved, so we just have to make sure everybody's determined eligible and suitable before they can actually get accepted in.
Well, I think it's, Sean, we talked about this when we were talking about who our radio show guest was going to be after he attended the forum on Friday. And I had run into Sherry at a back to school event and said, we need to get you on the show again. So it was just kind of perfect timing for all of it. And I know we've had conversations in the past before about when kids reach out and ask for help, we really need to get them what they're asking for, because it's hard for them to do that. And I know that it probably wasn't easy for the kids to get up and ask those questions to you guys.
That's true.
It's intimidating for them. And I really feel like this is kind of just happening at the perfect time, because we want them to have this information. So the more people that learn about it, the more people that understand how it works and can share the information with the kids in our community, I think the more successful our kids will be, the more successful this program will be, and the better community that we'll have. So I think it all happened at the perfect time, and I'm so glad you guys got to come
Thanks
today.
for having us. Yeah, I
Of
agree.
course,
Yeah.
of course.
I will say, because Sherry, you came in at the end of the youth panel, right?
I
'Cause
did. I missed it.
But I was talking to a couple of parents last night who attended they came to pick up their children from the summit, and I was asking them, what they thought, and they were talking about the jobs, and I said, well, do you guys know about Youth Connections? They're like, oh yeah, we know Sherry. so I was
Sherry
like,
knows
that's
everybody.
great. I was like, so you guys know about this, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, well, can you help us pass along the word then? But I said that because I thought, you're getting out there and people know who you are. That's important.
Good.
But
nice to hear.
but we all have a role in it, right? I mean, just like you said, we all have to pass along this information, because, if kids don't know what's out there, parents don't know what's out there, but it's out there, we're not doing our jobs.
Correct.
So one of the other things that came up was job fairs, and I know you guys do a lot of job fairs, both through your whole organization.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done a youth job fair, or do you guys have anything coming up? I know you guys do them all throughout the year, and you may not have any specific dates, but do you just want to talk generally about that?
We have not planned a youth job fair since we've begun the youth program that's running now. It is something that we've talked about.
Well, in a way,
that
you
would be a
guys do
great idea.
individual job fairs, one-on-one job fairs, right? So,
But CareerSource as a whole tries to plan some bigger job fairs, job fests they call them, at various times throughout the year. I believe there's one coming up in the next couple of months.
October 15th, I believe. It's on
October
the website.
15th.
Yeah,
It should be on the website. I believe they're looking for employers now who are looking for workers, who are looking for those job seekers so that they can get them lined up. And then, of course, they'll get the more information out for the job seekers to be ready for that as well as the time comes a little bit closer. There are various recruiting events. There were, I think, in the past 2 weeks, 4 or 5 different, smaller recruiting events with, a single employer. And it was, there were some in Vero, there was one in Martin County, there was some in St. Lucie County. I don't think I saw one just recently in Okeechobee County, but they are, our business services people are very, very busy working with the employers and getting them the job seekers that they need, and helping them screen through people so that, when you have a job position available and you put out an ad, you might get 200 people who are not qualified. They can use our recruiters at CareerSource to screen through those, and we'll give them 12.
Wow.
So that they're spending a lot less time combing through all of those resumes and that type of thing, or doing a recruiting event where they're bringing people in, they can interview on the spot, you're hiring right away, just to streamline things for employers so that they have more time to get back to their job, to their business,
That's awesome.
But there are recruiting events happening all the time. They can check that out on the CareerSourceRC.com website. They're constantly being posted and reposted. They are also, CareerSource is also on Facebook as well. So I think it's CareerSource Research Coast. They post those job fests, recruiting events on there, and other things that are going on. Hot jobs, such as just a job order that we have, the job opening that we're recruiting for, and they'll put that up there, and all the, you can click on the link to the qualifications and see if you fit, and then they tell you how to apply.
so really for job seekers, employers,
Absolutely.
you guys are the place to go to.
Yep.
So-
We're the one-stop shop.
Give the phone number out and any other contact information.
That
Everybody get your
866
pen
number
ready.
is 1-866-482-4473. And the website again is careersourcerc.com.
Awesome.
So what we'll do is we need to bring this number up consistently. Repetition is important, right? So, but again, folks, it doesn't just end and start and end with this conversation. It's up to everybody to pass this information along. And, you hear it all the time. Oh, there's these kids running on the street. They dropped out of school. They're not doing anything. Well, let's get them enrolled in your Youth Connections program.
Yeah. I actually wanted to mention earlier, our career coaches, the Garden City office and the Port St. Lucie office have orientations scheduled throughout the week. I believe they're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Give a call and find out what time. You can just drop in to the orientation and get all of the information about the program and eligibility and the application process at that time.
Very cool.
But they do them ongoing at both locations here in St. Lucie County.
At the very least, we want our listeners to pass on the number. If not, if you have a business or you're part of a civic organization or church, invite you guys to come in
Certainly.
and talk about what resources are out there, because lack of knowledge can no longer be an obstacle that we
Right.
face in this community. All right, so I'm going to pause. Oh, I'm past station ID. We only have a few minutes left. Sorry about that. We only have a few minutes left. We have a big event coming up. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
And-
guys very much.
And the fourth time, we'll get it down. Better. This is your third time. I'll have the
It's
name
fourth
down
time's a
by
charm.
then
Yeah.
perfectly.
Obviously, we've gotten better.
But do you want to talk? Thank you. Do you want to talk about Sundays?
Sure. We are excited. This Saturday is our Sundays in the Park event. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Tradition Field, where the Mets play. But we are giving away free books, free ice cream sundaes. We'll have free baseball tickets to the first 500, and a ton of activities for kids to do. Our funded programs and some community partners are going to be there with tables, sharing information, with activities and arts and crafts and all kinds of fun stuff for the kids to do. It's a really great time. I think we saw the whole Heisey family last year that
Yes.
came out. But we had an amazing surge in attendance last year, and we're really excited to see how many people come out this year. We also are sort of debuting a new project called our Neighborhood Postcard Project that we have modeled after one that we saw happen in California. And what we'll be doing very simply is we'll have some blank postcards that kids will be able to write or draw or share something that they love about our community. And then we're going to take all of those postcards back and we're going to randomly mail them to addresses in St. Lucie County to kind of just foster a little bit of goodwill about St. Lucie County and kind of share the things that the kids love about living here. So we're really excited to see how that goes. We've got 2,500 postcards coming, so come fill them out.
Yes.
Draw your pictures, bring your kids. It's going to be a great time. We're really excited.
And again, it's Saturday, August 23rd. I'm giving the date because it's televised, just in case you're watching it on Sunday. It's Saturday, August 23rd, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Free ice cream, free books, Mets tickets as long as they last. I think we have about 500,
Yep.
right? Lots of things to do. We always hear all the time, what's there to do with families or for families in St. Lucie County? This is the event. Saturday, August 23rd, where the Mets play. Some stadium, I think Tradition Stadium, but it's where the Mets play. Free ice cream. You had me at free ice cream.
That's right.
There's books for the kids and fun activities. Please come out. We're geared up. We have, last year we had about 1,200
Yeah.
children come through. This year we're ready to go for about 2,000, right?
Yep.
So 2001, we'll give you a voucher, but before the 2000, it's going to be great. Please come on out. I want to end the show real quick about, I kind of talked a little bit about why we do the show and who the Children's Services Council is or does. I want to talk a little bit about, we're in election season. And I'm allowed to talk about this. I'm just going to let you know that the Children's Services Council was established in 1990 by this community. The community voted at the time to start an independent district specifically for children. At that time, we became one of 7 in the state of Florida. There's currently 8 in the state of Florida. It's a local resource for local kids. Fast forward, we've been providing services or funding services that have been engaging the whole community and it's programs that we talked about: Boys and Girls Club, Avenue D, Nurse Home Visitation, Castle, 53 currently that serve 30,000. So that's our past, that's our present, our future. On November 4th, 2014, the Children's Services Council will be on the ballot. And it's a simple yes or no reauthorization. And I'm not here to tell you how to vote. That's completely up to you. I'm just going to let you know if it's a yes vote, these programs and this resource for these programs continues. If it's a no vote, the resource that provides this funding for the program will cease to exist. And for many of the programs, they receive 50%, 70, 80, 90% of their funding to serve the community from the Children's Services Council. So if yes, it will continue, no, it will go away, and that resource for those programs will go away. So that's the simple proposition. I always like to mention at the beginning, but I was so excited to get to our guest, I completely forgot about it. So that is our show. It's a weekly show, so
We'll be back.
good chance we'll be back next week, at least one of us.
Yeah.
That's how it's been working lately.
It's always a surprise.
It's always a surprise. But we want to thank Career Source Research Coast.
Good job.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Very good.
I got it. I'm going to
You're right.
repeat
There's
it
your
constantly.
repetition.
Career Source. It's on your shirts.
5
Career
times.
Source Research Coast. We want to thank you for coming on. And again, people, we hear it all the time. There's, young kids looking for jobs. Get them connected to the Youth Connections program. There's an application process they have to go through, but you're not going to know about any of that until you make that first call, make that first effort. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, but with our encouragement, listeners and viewers, we can make that happen. 866-482-4473. You're going to hear that number from us a lot in the upcoming months because we want to make sure that everybody knows about it. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and listening. It's a weekly radio show, so 95% chance we'll be back next week. Good chance we may start on time, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We want to thank the WIRA WFLM station for allowing us to invade their airways for an hour. We definitely want to thank the St. Lucie County School Board for putting us on WLX, the education channel. Anything else?
See you at Sundays in the Park.
Yes, come to Sundays in the Park, Saturday, August 23rd, 10 to 1. Come and say hi. If you see us on TV or watch us on the radio, hit us on the shoulder and say, I've heard you before. That happens sometimes.
It does.
So remember, it's our children, our community, our future. We're in this together. We'll see you next week.